Unusual and humorous zoo moments caught on camera. Animals displaying extraordinary behaviors like dancing and vocalizing in surprising ways. Witness unexpected and thrilling interactions, clever escapes by various animals, and even apes engaging with smartphones. Plus, a panda with an amusing talent for twerking. Join me in this video as we explore these rare and entertaining occurrences of the zoo. Let's embark on this adventure together. Stoffel. It's surprising to know that honey badgers are the coolest escape artists from zoos and other places, not octopuses. One honey badger named Stoffel does not tolerate confinement and constantly keeps the staff of Kruger National Park in South Africa on their toes. In the 20 years he has lived there, he has escaped from his enclosure more times than anyone can count. Stoffel is quite resourceful and can climb the fence, open the door, put an object against the wall and climb over it, or use other handy objects to escape. His escapes often scare park residents and staff as well as other people. Interestingly, Stoffel not only escapes himself, but also helps other animals to escape. It's been said that he once helped lions escape from their cages. Octopus. The next animal in this video likes to escape from confinement as much as lions. This is the octopus. These animals are very intelligent, so they're not afraid of any traps, enclosures, or aquariums. Watch as this huge octopus climbs the glass wall. The visitors, so far, are amused. They think the mollusk is just playing, but it's serious. Already soon, it completely overcomes the barrier and falls on the floor, scaring everyone around it. It couldn't escape any further, but it was interesting, by the way. This octopus is a repeat offender. It had previously tried to escape from confinement. Watch how it was the first time. It also climbs up the glass, already dangling its tentacles beyond the barrier. But the woman quickly reacts and pushes the mollusk back in, and here's how the octopus leaves the trap. There's only one way out, through a small hole a few centimeters in diameter. But the octopus masterfully squeezes through and is soon completely outside. Escape of lions. It's always a big deal when an animal escapes from a zoo, especially if it's a lion or a group of lions. This was the case a few months ago at Sydney's Taronga Zoo. Early one morning, an adult lion and 4 lion cubs escaped through a damaged part of the fence. There were already visitors at the zoo at that time, so they had to be quickly escorted to the staff quarters for their safety. The zoo was immediately locked down, and a search for the missing animals was initiated. Thankfully, the lions were soon found, and they voluntarily returned to their enclosure. Only one lion cub had to be tranquilized before being moved back to its cage. Polar bear. Okay, I suggest we leave the escapes alone and look at some other interesting zoo moments. Let's start with this rousing polar bear, which put on a dance show for the public. It moves funny, shakes its head, and amuses the crowd, but actually there's no dancing. Polar bears usually do this for 2 reasons. Either they're just in a playful mood, or they shake their heads when they feel threatened. Here it's more likely the second variant, because bears feel uncomfortable in the zoo. Now this looks more like traditional dancing. The camera caught a small gorilla having fun in its enclosure in a puddle, twirling and stomping in rhythm that only it can hear in its own head. I think it's a pretty good breakdance, don't you think? Giraffe. During a visit to the zoo with his parents, a child had a wonderful experience. A giraffe approached him, bent down, sniffed him, and appeared to give him a kiss. Apparently, this was the giant's customary greeting. It's fortunate that this was the extent of the interaction, as wild giraffes can be unpredictable and dangerous. Thankfully, there were no accidents and the child was left with a memorable experience. Walruses. Still, kisses from wild animals should be taken in a safer place. For example, through the glass of a large aquarium. This little girl was lucky enough to see a real big walrus up close. The giant swam up to her and then kissed her through the glass. It was great. Walruses are generally cool guys which give good vibes, not only to visitors, but also to zoo staff. For example, in this case, the trainer trained the walrus and taught it to high-five. The walrus definitely deserved a fish for that. Lyrebird. Please listen carefully. You may hear what sounds like a baby crying in the zoo. However, there is no need to panic or rush to save anyone. It is actually a lyrebird, which is known for its incredible ability to mimic a wide range of sounds, including the cry of a baby. The lyrebird is not in any danger and is simply displaying its impressive vocal abilities. If you listen closely, you may hear it imitating other sounds, such as blasters firing or car alarms. Lyrebirds are one of the most talented impersonators in the animal kingdom, able to imitate both natural and artificial sounds. Take a moment to appreciate this amazing creature's unique talent. Dogs. We see an African wild dog that's nervous. It runs towards the glass and jumps. After all, an unusual visitor has come, an ordinary dog. All the wild dogs immediately ran to the glass and began to examine their distant relative. They must have thought at that moment that this dog was something wrong. I think these wolves thought the same thing. One of them is stomping on its front paws. It's in an aggressive mood and doesn't understand anything, but the other wolves are quite friendly. They just look at their cousin for freedom with curiosity and probably want to play with it. Greetings. Often animals in enclosures are aggressive towards people, but not these amazing bears. Just look at how they wave to visitors. They warmly welcome them, giving them a bunch of unforgettable emotions. Twerk. And here's a relative of those brown bears. This chubby panda gathered a lot of people around it. At first they just admired it, and then the panda decided to twerk for them. See how cool it moves. It's quite possible for it to try itself in a talent show, or at least music videos. Meeting with a lion. Zoos are not just a place for funny and interesting moments. Tense situations can also arise, like the one where a drunk man climbed over the fence and entered the lion enclosure. The lion was caught off guard and was confused as it didn't expect such an intrusion. Surprisingly, the man turned out to be not only reckless and brave, but also knew how to behave correctly with lions. He managed to handle the dangerous predator and remained unharmed. However, it's unclear why the zoo staff didn't come to the rescue for so long. Elephants. Something similar happened in this case. In one of the zoos in Denmark, a man climbed over the fence and got into an enclosure with elephants. Of course, it made them nervous. The giants approached the intruder and showed discontent with their appearance. Soon, he stood up, spread his hands, and began to walk away. The man eventually got out of the enclosure unharmed. He was very lucky. He was only a few inches away from 2 adult elephants and a calf, so the giants could finish him off at any second. Gorilla. The gorilla has had a reason to celebrate in the last few days. It finally had a long-awaited baby. The new mother has already proudly shown off her baby to everyone in the enclosure, and now the gorilla displays the baby to all zoo visitors. It's clear that the gorilla loves its baby very much, as it embraces and kisses it. It's fascinating to observe how similar the gorilla's behavior is to humans. After all, why should we be surprised if gorillas exhibit behaviors that are very similar to ours? By the way, do you know what else resembles a human? Chimpanzees. Just like humans, chimpanzees are fond of using smartphones. The girl shows the primate something on her smartphone. The primate gazes at it with interest and also indicates when to scroll through the page. The reflection does not quite reveal what was on the smartphone, so I suggest you share your interpretations. What could have piqued the chimpanzee's interest so much? Rhino. At the zoo, each animal has its own unique way of having a good time. The chimpanzees can be seen using smartphones, while the bears dance and wave at the visitors. As for the rhino, it puts on a fascinating show by using a giant log. It holds the log, showing off its strength, and spins around with it. It may look like a circus performance, but it could just be the rhino's way of strength training. Regardless of the reason, it is certainly an unusual sight to see. Hippo. Let's return to the escapes I mentioned at the beginning of the video. The next escaped animal is a hippo. The extremely dangerous and very large animal somehow inexplicably exited its enclosure, evaded the guards, and headed straight for the main entrance. The hippo executed a remarkably audacious escape, but what's even more intriguing is that it didn't fully escape. At a certain point, the giant changed its mind about gaining freedom, so it turned back on its own and re-entered the zoo grounds. Shortly thereafter, it was guided back to its enclosure. Hippo II. Here's another captivating moment featuring hippos. Here, we witness the interaction between a mother and her calf. The calf was born just a few moments ago. The mother nudges it to the surface so that the baby can take its first breath. This is exceptionally crucial because hippos give birth in the water. Newborn hippos cannot hold their breath for more than 40 seconds and are at risk of drowning. After 5 minutes, the newborn hippo is capable of standing on its own. That concludes the presentation, folks. Which moment surprised you the most? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.